Hello guys, we are back with our next lecture. In this lecture, let us go through the phases of a compiler, guys. Okay, so to be clear, I'll be using some other book while explaining here, guys. So like in theoretically, that book is having good explanation. Okay, so that is the reason why I'm moving to that book. So I'll be sharing you this PDF also, guys. So this is from my other channel, that is OU Education. So in that I mainly cover semesters like for theoretical exams, right? Yes. Okay. So let us start. So when we are discussing about the phases of a compiler, so each phase is interdependent on one another, right? I'm not going to in detail in theory, guys. Okay. So don't worry. Okay. So each phase is having their own work, right? So what is this phase work? So it will take some code, it will give some other code as an output. So in that way they are going to work, right? Yes. So totally we are having 6 phases, guys. So the first 3 phases are lexical analysis, syntax analysis, and semantic analysis. So what is the common word in between these 3, guys? Analysis. So these 3 are called as analysis phases. Okay. When it comes to the next 3 phases, the next phase is intermediate code generator. The next phase is code optimization. The next phase is target code generation. Okay. Yes. And on both the other sides, we are having the symbol table and symbol table manager and error manager. Okay, I'll be explaining you about each and every one of them in detail, guys. Okay, like what we are going to give the output and what are we going to get the output. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, so let us continue. Okay, so when it comes to lexical analyzer, okay, so let us take a small statement here, guys. So x is equals to a plus b into 20 semicolon. Okay, so what are you observing here? So here there are some items, right? Yes. So if we individually give item, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. X equal to a plus b into 20 semicolon. Okay, so for each of these individual items, these items are called as a tokens, guys. So x is a token, equal to is a token, a equal to a token, plus is a token, b is a token, into is a token, 20 is a token, semicolon is a token. So what we can say is a token, guys. So anything which is having some meaning, right? So x is a variable, so is equals to is an operator, a is an variable, plus is an operator, b is an variable, x is operator, 20 is a number, semicolon is a termination, right? Yes. So each and every one of them is a token, right? Yes. And to be clear, how many types we can divide these tokens, guys? So the first type is identifier, right? So each and every variable, I told variable, right? Yes. So those are nothing but identifiers, guys. Okay. And these are operators, right? Equal to, plus, into, less than, greater than, and all those things are nothing but operators. So identifier, operator, and one number. So we are having the 3 different categories, right? Yes. So now you understood, right? So 3 types of tokens we are having here. So reading source program 1 character at a time, left to right, and converting into sequence of atomic units called as a tokens. Got it? Yes. So we are going to convert this thing, x is equals to a plus b into 20 semicolon, to id1 operator, id2 operator, id3 operator, number, semicolon. So in that way, got it? Yes. So if you want an example, I wrote a simple example from step 1 to step end, guys. So here assume that this is the input which we are giving. A is equals to b into c into d. So what is a? Identifier 1. Equal to is an operator. B is an identity 2. Star is an operator. So any operator we are going to represent in this way, guys. So if it is a star operator, you will represent in between 2 less than and greater than symbols, right? Yes. Okay. So star, id3, star, id4. Got it? Yes. So this is the work of the lexical analyzer, guys. Got it? Yes. So tool used by lexical analyzer is a lex tool to generate tokens. So basically to identify these tokens, we are going to use this lex tool, guys. Okay. And it is also going to remove, lexical analysis is also going to remove white spaces, tab spaces, comments are also removed or avoided from the source code. So basically when we are writing code, we do few things, right? So when you recall, whenever we are coding, we use indentation, right? So why do we use indentation? So we want to understand the code easily. So basically if there is a for loop here, you will give some lines of space and you will start coding from here, right? Yes. So that is nothing but indentation. So those are nothing but unwanted white spaces, right? So for a compiler, do it need to understand it? No, it just wants the code in zeros and ones. So we are going to remove it, and similarly the tab spaces also, similarly comments also, whatever we are writing. So all those things will be removed here. Okay, yes. So that is the same thing which is written here also, guys. Okay. Yes. So here I took an example, print colon 4 into var plus 1. Okay. So print is one item, colon is one item, 4 is one item, star is one item, var is one item, plus is one item, 1 is one item. Okay. Yes. So in that way we have divided. So who is going to convert this statement into tokens? Lexer or Lexer tool, to be clear, right? Yes. Okay. Yes. So now I hope everyone got a clear idea with respect to this lexical analyzer, right? So I gave you a real-time example also, right? Yes. So this statement we have converted using lexical analyzer and we formed this, right? Yes. Okay. So now the next stage is parser or syntax analyzer, guys. To be clear, 50% of the time in this subject we will be spending here only, guys. Okay. Yes. So please concentrate and understand its use, guys. So what we do here is okay, so in simple words, let me explain you in terms of reality also. Okay, so when it comes to lexical analyzer, it is like spelling checker, guys. So assume that I want to write what is a good word which I can spell correctly. Okay, so let us assume I want to write the spelling of a checking, okay, or checker, checking, okay, CHECKING. Okay, so I assume that it is correct spelling. It might be wrong also. Okay, yes, checking. So when it comes to checking, so this is the correct spelling, right? Yes. So if I write anything other than this, okay, it is going to recognize. So the work of this lexical analyzer is to check the spellings, guys. So assume that our variable is int a equal to 10. So is int a valid thing, guys? Yes, because int is predefined. So assume that instead of int, because I typed really fast, I typed itn. So at that time it's not a correct thing, right? So these type of spelling errors or spelling mistakes will be found by this lexical analyzer. Got it? Yes. So for lexical analyzer, what machine we can build, guys? So a simple DFA will be enough. Got it? Yes. So if you want to check int, so you can write in this way, right? So the first state will give int I, n and t. Okay. Yes. So now this is the output. So any other thing which you give, you are going to go to a dead state, right? Yes. So now you understood, right? So this is the main reason why I told there should be some basic knowledge with respect to TOC. Got it? Yes. Okay. So now let us go to the second phase, that is a parser or syntax analysis. So here what we do is we are having these expressions, right? Yes. So now we convert these expressions into some graphs. To be clear, using some grammar, we are going to convert them into parse trees. Okay. Yes. So it is used to generate parse trees. Okay. Okay. So please concentrate, guys. Okay. So this phase groups the tokens. So basically we are using the same tokens that are identified in previous phase into grammatical phases. So here what we do is we do grammar checking, guys. So whenever we are working with English, so what is our first step? You should not write any mistakes, spelling mistakes. So once the spelling mistakes are done, we move to grammar. So in the same way here, parser is going to check that only. Okay. So thus syntax analyzer determines if the sequence of tokens is correct or not. Okay. So assume that I started writing an equation, A is equals to A plus B. A value is predefined somewhere, B value is predefined somewhere. So here there is no issue, right? Yes. But instead of writing this, I wrote A is equals to A plus divided by B. Does that make any sense, guys? Are you going to do addition or division? What are you doing? So hence that is wrong, right? So these type of mistakes are found by this syntax analyzer. Got it? Yes. So how we are going to find is you are going to convert your given expression into tree, guys. So x is equals to A plus B into 20, right? Yes. So among these all, which I can perform first? So let us assume we are following BODMAS rule. So at that time, first you will do multiplication, right? Yes. So you will do B into 20. So B into 20, you will get the result. And this result you are going to add to A. And at the end, you are going to substitute that result into X, right? Yes. So this is the tree diagram, right? Yes. So this is the step which we are going to do in syntax analyzer. So most of the students are like, okay, so we understood it. But why did you write X, A, B and 20? You should write identifier 1, identifier 2, identifier 3 and number, right? You are absolutely correct, guys. I just wrote it in that way so that you will understand. But in reality, it is going to convert in that way only. Identifier 3 into identifier 4, that is a C into D. Then identifier 2 into that result. and identifier 1 equal to this result. Got it? Yes. So this is the step with respect to syntax analyzer, guys. Okay. So in the same way I have written the example in my book also, but to make things interesting, instead of directly taking BODMAS, I wrote the grammar also, guys. So anyway, I'll be explaining you how you are going to work with the grammar and draw these graphs. So don't worry, guys. Okay. Yes. So we are having dedicated lecture for lexical analysis, syntax analysis, and all those things. So this is just an overview, to be clear. Okay. Yes. Okay. So in this syntax analysis only, we are going to learn about all those parsers, guys. I told, right? So we are going to spend around 50% of the time in this particular topic. Yes. So we are going to learn around 6 different parsers, guys. So now you understood, right? So how important this thing will be interesting. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes. So now let us move to the next phase. That is semantic analysis, guys. Okay, so when it comes to semantic analysis, so previously what we did, guys, so in the first step we checked spellings, in the second step we checked grammar. When it comes to the third step, here we are going to check the meaning of the sentence. So in English there could be some sentences which are not having proper meaning, right? So they might be grammatically correct, there might be verb, noun and all those things as per requirement, but sometimes they doesn't make any sense, right? Yes, so those kind of things will be identified here, guys. So I wrote a small example. So verifying a parse tree. So we are just going to, here we are not going to do anything, guys. So if you even check in our final example, syntax analyzer, what it gave the output, semantic analyzer will also give the same output. There will be no change here. If there is any error, it is going to recognize it. That's it. Okay. So assume in this way. So assume A is equals to B plus C. And here what we are going to check is if A dot B is equals to B dot B type. So here I am checking A type, B type and C type. And I am comparing if A type is equals to B type and A type equal to C type, then you can perform addition. So to be clear, this example will be working really good. If we are working, so assume that this is a float, this is a float and this is an int. So at that time you can add them, but your result will not be accurate, right? So if you want accurate result, you should use float. So this is what it is going to check, guys. Got it? Yes. So here we use annotated parse trees, guys. Okay. Anyway, we are having dedicated lectures for those trees, so don't worry. Okay. Yes. So to be clear, annotated parse trees are almost similar to our traditional parse trees, but here we are going to apply some rules and actions. Okay. Yes. Anyway, we'll be discussing them, guys. Don't worry. Okay. Yes. So now moving on to intermediate code generator. Okay. So when it comes to intermediate code generator, here we are going to generate code for our particular thing, guys. Okay. Yes. Okay, so here intermediate code represents a final machine language code is generated. So to be clear, we are going to use a 3 address code, guys. There is a 2 address code, 1 address code, 0 address code also, but we are going to use a 3 address code. So if you want to learn about 2 address code and 1 address code, you need to, I think it's already covered in computer organization. I don't know whether I am going to cover in future or not, but if you want right now, you can just check in computer organization lectures. You can find the video for it. Okay, yes. So when it comes to 3 address code, what we do is anything you are doing, it should be at maximum of 3 addresses. Okay, so if this is my equation, first I am going to perform b into 20, right? So let us take a temporary variable t1 and let us substitute that b into 20 here. Okay, so once this result is out, so now I can perform t2, right? So t2 is equals to a plus this result, that is a t1. So at the end I am going to substitute it in x. So this is nothing but the 3 address code for this particular simple code. Got it? Yes. So in the same way, I think after this page you can find the same way we have written here also. So basically instead of writing ABs, you need to write this, guys, ID3, ID2, ID1 in that format. Okay. Yes. Okay. So once this particular code conversion is done or intermediate code conversion is done, then we are going to optimize the code, guys. Okay. So when it comes to optimization of code, what is our goal, guys? Our goal is to optimize it. So means previously this code is taking 3 steps, right? Yes. Sorry, 3 steps, right? Yes. So can I reduce 1 step here? Yes. So instead of storing in T2, I can directly store here in X, right? Yes. So that is a code optimization, right? So here optimization of code is done and unwanted and unused or non-used steps are removed or skipped here. Okay. And to be clear, this is an optional phase because doing code optimization and without doing code optimization, both the time the results will be same. So what's the major thing? The time will be saved, guys. That's it, right? Yes. Okay. Yes. And moving on to the last stage, that is a target code generation. So to be clear, to which language our compiler is converting, guys. So for our example, we are taking to machine level language, not right. So we are taking with respect to assembly level language. So now our particular code or our particular 2 steps are converted into a sequence of equations which are going to express in assembly level language. So move b value to r1, multiply r1 with 20, add r1 with a, store r1 in x. Got it? Yes, I have written the equivalent codes also. You can just cross check it. Okay. Yes. Okay, so now moving on to the last two parts, those are symbol table and as well as error handler. So now you understood all the 6 phases, right? I have written those 6 phases here. So now once the code, intermediate code is generated, you will compress it. So this last statement can be written here itself. So we have compressed it. After that, we converted it into code generated code. That is nothing but our assembly language, right? Yes. Okay, so once we got that assembly level language, okay, so now let us go through symbol table. Okay, so when it comes to symbol table, here whatever variables we are using in our code, so in our code we used variable a, variable b and all those things, right? Yes, so they will have some initializations, right? They are going to have some values, right? So all those things we are going to store in this table, symbol table, and that is the main reason why this symbol table is connected to everyone, guys, because at any moment of time we might require some data. So that is the reason why we are connecting it to everyone. Got it? Yes. Similarly, when it comes to error handler, so whenever some kind of error occurs, so basically that error messages and all those things will be stored here. Okay, so detecting and correcting error in the source code program is the most important function of a compiler. So in every phase of compiler, errors can be detected. These are compile time errors or static errors, okay, because they are finding at compile time only. Like, so assume that in int you forgot to write that t, or you wrote itn. So in that time, this is a spelling mistake, right? So that comes under lexical error. Similarly, moving on to syntactical error. So sometimes we forget writing semicolon or we forget writing closed bracket. So these type of things comes under syntactic error. When it comes to semantic error, you wrote int x is equals to 99.99. So you might not get an error, but your compiler is going to convert it into x equal to 99, right? Yes. So that is nothing but a semantic error. And similarly, we are going to have logical errors, which are nothing but our infinite loops. Okay. Yes. So now I think everyone got a clear idea. So this is the exact example which I was showing you in between, right? Yes. Anyway, I'll be sharing you this book PDF also, guys. So this book will contain whole compiler construction or whole compiler design subject in theoretical fashion. Mostly it will be in theoretical fashion rather than problems. Okay. Yes. So this is one more example. If you want, you can try it, guys. The amount is equals to principal plus rate into 30. To be clear, that almost looks like here. Just the symbol is different, guys. That's it. Okay. Yes. Okay. So now I hope everyone got a clear idea with respect to this, right? Yes. Okay. Okay. So in the next lecture, we will be discussing about single phase and multi-phase or two-phase parsers, guys. So these are also the type of parsers which we'll be learning. Okay. Yes. So these are just for our theoretical understanding, guys. Okay. Yes. Okay. So now I hope everyone got a clear idea with respect to different phases, right? Yes. So once this particular lecture is done, we will be moving on to the lexical analyzer and all those things, guys. Okay, so you will get more and more clarity on these things, so don't worry at all, guys. Okay, even though you got some basic idea is enough here, guys. Okay. Yes. Okay, so in the next lecture, let us discuss various types of parsers, as well as we are going to discuss the difference between okay, so we are going to the difference between compiler and interpreter. Okay, so in the next lecture only we will be discussing both of them. Okay. Yes, so let us meet in the next lecture and continue. Okay. Yes, I hope everyone got a clear idea, right? Yes. Okay, so let us meet in the next lecture. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Like, share and subscribe for more awesome videos like this. Thank you.